Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the chopping board on the cutting edge of metal, and welcome to a new installment in our series Fresh Metal Album Reviews. Today I'm doing Eon of Obscenity by Stabbing. Now, I've heard of them before, and I've actually, because I have had them recommended to me before, lots and lots of times by a lot of people who are into this sort of genre. So I was very excited when I heard they released an album, because, I can listen to it and review it for this, so very excited. For those who don't know, they are a brutal death metal, slam death metal band. And a lot of the things that people seem to like about them are the vocals, who is Bridget Lynch. She seems very good, but I have had a little listen to them, just some of their songs on YouTube. And, the whole band seems pretty locked in, to be honest. So, looking forward to it, looking forward to see what they got. Another thing I noticed when I looked at the track list, there is a song with Ricky Myers, who was a current vocalist for Suffocation. He did their vocals on their last album, their latest one, which I don't know if I've actually heard, so I don't know how good he is, but, if he's a vocalist for Suffocation, there's a fair chance he's probably good. But nah, that's interesting, so I'm looking forward to see what they do there. The only real thing I'm maybe a little concerned about is, in my opinion, when it comes to brutal death metal and slam death metal, when I'm listening to a whole album, it can get pretty samey and just songs sort of blend into each other. So I'm hoping they manage to vary it up somehow and stay, creatively different between songs. But, I guess we'll see what they've got cooking up for us. Excited to see. But before we go listen to it, remember, we need to react and rate the album artwork. So this one, I'm not, it's pretty good. It's neither here nor there. It's pretty standard for, brutal death metal. It's just some scary, gory looking BS with their logo and some spiky metal font. But the only saving grace I'd say it has that makes it cool, in my opinion, and I like, is the color. It is purple. Purple is my favorite color, so that is very epic. And I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty solid. There's nothing wrong with it, neither here nor there. But let's see what the music is like, eh? So I'm going to go listen to it. Afterwards, I'll give you my thoughts, comments, and general ideas of the album. And then I'll give it the final rating/score. I'll see you guys after I listen to it. Bye! Yo, what's going on? I just listened to Eon of Obscenity by Stabbing. I listened to the album, and I gotta say, it was definitely one of the funnest and coolest slam/brutal death metal projects out right now. One of the coolest ones I've heard. And my reason for this was a lot of slam bands out right now are trying to focus on being heavy. They want to be the heaviest band ever, which is fair enough. It's slam. Slam is a heavy genre, so why not be more of that? But Stabbing, I feel like they take a different approach. Well, of course they're heavy. It's brutal death metal. It's gonna be heavy, bro. But they actually focus on having interesting sections. They focus on interesting riffs. They focus on interesting drum parts. They focus on not just being heavy. It sounds like they're trying to be more than just straight up heavy, straight caveman, which I appreciate, because I'm sick of bands who put heaviness before the song. And I know it's metal and it's a heavy genre, so why not be heavy? But guys, you gotta remember to have good songs. This is still music. You still need the basic structures of songwriting. But yeah, I'm really happy that they did more stuff like that. It didn't, because it makes me feel bored super quick when stuff is just super heavy all the time. But yeah, no, these guys were fairly decent at trying not to do that. They had a lot of cool and catchy and interesting parts, which I liked. The other thing I liked was it was a good balance of brutal death metal and slam. For example, if you take a pretty slammy slam band, I don't know, Peeling Flesh, that's right at the far end of slam. But then you take a super brutal, more brutal death metal band like Defeated Sanity, I don't know, I feel like they're both good bands. Hey, don't catch me hating on either of those bands, right? But they both have their shortcomings, like I was saying with the Peeling Flesh guys, just being super heavy and caveman and not a lot of interestingness. But with the brutal death metal guys just being too insane, being too just wacky, and it's just bands like Defeated Sanity, it's just relentless. And I felt like they had a good balance of both, which I quite liked. Yeah, it was a cool album. Ricky Myers as well had a very cool feature on the album. However, it was quite a short. It was just like one verse, but hey, he stood out, and it was a cool feature having the Suffocation vocalist on. Yeah, it was cool. The only downside I'd say to the album was, while they did put effort into the songwriting, it wasn't great. Like, it did I did towards the end get a bit bored, and for only a 30-minute album, that's not great. I think it's due to there being a lack of varied speeds and dynamics, but that's pretty common in brutal death metal, and I feel like it's hard to tell if that's a critique on the band or just on the genre. But it's much of a muchness. It was still very good for what it was, so I'm happy with it. Best song of theirs, in my opinion, was their Melted Remains, and the final album score is 8.5 out of 10. That's what I'm giving it. Pretty fun, pretty damn good, especially for, bands out of that genre. I thought they did a really cool and creative job on it. However, that's what I'm giving them. If you disagree, I'm sorry. Let me know what you think then in the comments, and let me know how you guys thought. Also, chuck any requests you have down in the comments. I am looking for requests at the moment, so happy to do those. And yeah, thank you for watching. Really appreciate all the views I get, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!